Hello and welcome everyone. This is the Void Playground, and I'm joined by JD and Jumpman. Jumpman, how are you doing today?
I've been dragged here against my will.
Okay, this is good. JD, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited about today's topic.
So this is a big podcast today, guys. We had WWDC. It's going on right now, and we're going to talk about Tuesday, which is obviously a lot of big announcements on Tuesday. A lot of crazy stuff. So let's get started. We're just gonna go down the list here, okay? So number one, the new MacBook Air, 15-inch MacBook Air. Apple's claiming this is the most powerful 15-inch laptop on the planet. You know, but I mean they do a lot of that. But I don't know, JD, how do you feel about the new Air?
So the new Air is actually really impressive. For me, I wouldn't consider getting it because content creation is my platform. If you are a student or if you're just needing a MacBook, I would recommend the MacBook Air because it does have the M2 chip, and the M2 chip is the most powerful chip as of right now. And it's really good for a good price. It's starting at what? Starting at $199.99 or something like that.
Yeah, the M2 one, the 15-inch M2 one starts at $12.99.
$12.99, sorry,
And
$12.99.
you get an 8-core CPU, a 10-core GPU. You get 8 gigabytes of RAM, and then you get a 256 gigabyte SSD.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are probably at least going to upgrade the RAM and the SSD. I mean, Thunderbolt, it's so good that you can just hook an external drive up to it. But if you want to have that, if you want to have that extra space, obviously. So I mean, it's going to be more, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's I'm not a huge fan of 15-inch laptops. That's just me, though. I'm more I like smaller laptops. But that was an interesting release. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, because before the 15-inch, it was actually saved for the MacBook Pros, and
right,
they only had the 12-inch or the 13-inch Air.
Correct. I like the Air. I would consider getting one myself. And for me, I like to have the most powerful thing, but then I'm realizing that it's like, am I really going to be using, I mean, am I really going to be, doing all this crazy stuff? So, guys, we're going to be jumping around here. So, no pun intended, Jumpman. We're going to be jumping around from thing to thing. So, we're going to get back to Mac. Watch OS 10. Actually, let's just go over all the OSs. Watch OS, iPad OS, iOS 17, and
Mac OS.
Yeah, let's go over all that. So let's start off with iOS 17. Thoughts? 17. We got the new Journal app coming in. I'm kind of excited for that. Obviously, there's a lot of synergy. Apple is synergizing a lot of their stuff together, which I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like, the new AirDrop, like what they're doing with AirDrop. That is incredible. In fact, okay, that's the only reason why I got an iPhone is AirDrop. But I don't know, JD, I want to hear your thoughts.
So for the new features coming into iOS 17, it's actually really nice. The AirDrop feature is like one of the key things that they showed off in the keynote. On top of that, more of like your background, your like profile for when you share your contact or when you receive a call from somebody.
Oh, I love that. Love that feature.
Yeah, I love that too. Because I like to personalize all my contacts. The journal one was actually quite interesting. I do take a lot of notes through the Notes app, so I do want to test out the Journal app to see how it is. Yeah, just want to test that out. And the iMessage also was really nice with stickers, and also if you record audio, like send audio through text message through the iMessage, it actually dictates it out for you.
See, that's cool.
That's another cool feature that I really like too. There's a couple other ones too that I think I'm missing.
Yeah, no, we're just kind of going over the broad strokes. Obviously, there's the new the new widget system that they've done. Obviously, Android's had this for years, but it's nice. It's a nice welcome feature to come to iOS. Jumpman, what are your thoughts on iOS 17?
I don't. I've not really owned an Apple product.
Oh, well, there we go.
Uh-oh.
So
We have
yeah,
Android in here.
yeah, I use Android and my computer's a PC, so so I didn't even know about WWDC until 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so I think there is one thing that we are going to be able to talk about with Jumpman that I think maybe is a little bit exciting. So,
Well, the one thing I did, I did look it up. Yeah, the Apple
we'll
Vision
talk about it.
Pro
We're going to talk about
yeah.
that. We're going to talk about that, Jumpman.
Okay. Yeah.
So standby mode.
Oh, the standby mode was nice too.
I mean, you're getting some quality of life stuff. You're getting some interesting, cool stuff with iPadOS. It's nothing super duper crazy, but a welcome addition. So moving over to the iPad. Now obviously Apple, because this WWDC was so like there was so much stuff that they announced. They had to put Final Cut and Logic Pro into like an announcement that they did a month ago. So I think that would have been, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff. iPadOS now has the personalized lock screen, like what we were talking about. Motion, the emotion effects for live photos, and wallpapers. Widgets on the lock screen, interactive widgets, of course, which we just talked about. Message, a lot of similarities, but here's what I find interesting about iPadOS. Okay, and this is why I might get an iPad. You get more real estate, and like I mentioned before, that synergy, right? Like you get the synergy between your Apple Watch, your iPhone, your Mac, and it all kind of just works together.
I mean, that's what happens when you're part of the Apple ecosystem. Everything just talks and connects together.
100%, dude, 100%. And I mean, there's a lot of ecosystems out there, right? And they just don't work as well. Having said that, look, guys, I use both Android, I use iPhone, I've used Windows, I use Mac, I use Linux, and I use them for different purposes. So it's really interesting though. But I don't know. I'm wasn't really too like. I mean, obviously, a lot of the iPhone or the iOS stuff is coming to iPadOS, so there wasn't really anything crazy for me with the iPadOS. But yeah,
the iPadOS, the key feature that they differentiates between the iPhone and the iPad is actually the PDF version, like the PDF stuff, and then working with the Apple Pencil, and you could simultaneously work together on a single project on PDF, or the notes, I think, something like that. Yeah, through PDF. Through PDF. Yeah. Yeah. So that's another key thing too. And then the FaceTime. We need to talk about FaceTime.
So FaceTime, I like the fact that we're going to kind of jump around here again. I like the fact that you can now it's on Apple TV. I like that. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Nothing too crazy, but all quality of life improvements. JD, what are your thoughts?
So for FaceTime, I really like that feature too because I have an Apple TV that I use. So I get to use my phone for the camera and then talk full screen on the TV. Not only that, but like if let's say I FaceTime you, if I FaceTime you and you're busy, I could just leave you a little video message. That's another key thing as well. And then being able to share your screen.
Yeah, video conference. That's looking really good.
And like a whole bunch of key features in FaceTime. That's like they're improving it, and on top of that, it works with other third-party apps like Zoom and like team meetings and stuff like that as well. So I really like that.
Yeah, kind of an interesting like adaptive audio. Like that. We're just going on a sidebar before we get into Mac OS, but I like the fact that they added. I was just reading here the adaptive audio, with the AirPods. So that's kind of cool. I don't own a pair of AirPods, so I don't really know. So iPadOS, iOS, lots of good stuff. let's talk about watchOS. Is that okay, JD?
Yeah, I have a Apple Watch 8 right here.
So I don't own an Apple Watch. Some of my family members do. What are your thoughts on the new experience for watchOS 10?
WatchOS 10, it's actually, for me, like when it comes to the widgets and getting to your apps faster and looking at the, like, let's say the weather app or like the teams, like your favorite sports teams and stuff like that, that's actually way better than what I have right now. It's like when I take a glance at my Apple Watch, yes, I can see the weather, but it doesn't tell me like in detail. I have to actually go into the app itself, and then it actually explains more like about the weather. Um, yeah, and then also the same thing happening with with the Apple Watch. That's with the iPhone is like you get to airdrop your contacts through
Yeah,
the
they're
Apple
calling it
Watch.
name drop, right?
Name drop, yeah, name
Yeah.
dropping, yeah. So for me, I use my Apple Watch every day, not only for like telling time and like getting notifications, but I use it for fitness too.
Sure, of
And I
course.
really like that the new aspect of fitness that they implementing into Apple Watch.
Yeah, I'm very curious, and um like I go hiking sometimes, and so I like the offline map situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna be, that's pretty cool. I might check out an Apple Watch, at some point.
Yeah, and I like the what is it? The compass. It's like a 3D compass view. That's really nice too. When you're like out and hiking, and you just put like waypoints of where you started and stuff like that. That's really nice too to really see that in a better in a different angle than what is already happening on your Apple Watch.
Absolutely, man.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get to Mac OS, we got two new Macs. Okay. So we got the Mac Studio, the one with the M2 in it, the M2
M2 Max and M2 Ultra.
Yeah, the M2 Max and M2 Ultra. I love the Mac Studio. I don't own one. I'm probably going to get one. I was actually waiting for the M2 to drop, but a lot of people that had the old, like the 20, not old, but like the 2019 like Mac Pros have switched to. A lot of people that I know have switched to the Mac Studios. But speaking of the Mac Pro, we also did get an update to the Mac Pro. It's not as crazy. It's not as expensive as the previous, the previous cheese grater, but it's I've always been a fan. I've been a fan of the cheese grater. I like it. You can't quite spec it out to $50,000 like you could the last one, but you can spec it out to. Actually, let me just spec it out. Minus like Final Cut and all that stuff. You can get it for 12 grand. And then the
That's
studio,
not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. The problem I have with the Mac Pro is the like from my understanding, you still get all the PCIe cards, but you don't get to swap out the memory, and you don't get to swap out. Well, obviously the CPU you can't swap that out, and then obviously the GPU you can't add GPU. So there is some trade-off, but you do get some cool stuff too. So I don't know. I mean, you get 8 terabytes of SSD, you get 192 gigs of RAM. The previous generation, and I might just buy one of the previous generation ones just for fun. But I think the old one you could spec out to 1.5 terabytes of RAM. Don't know why anybody would need that, but this one you can do 192 gigabytes of RAM. So I mean, it's interesting. So, I mean, the real draw here is obviously the M2 Ultra with the 24-core CPU and the 76-core GPU and the 32-core neural engine. But going back to the Mac Studio, what's interesting is like maxing the Mac Studio out. That's kind of a mouthful. It's $8,700, and you can get the M2 Ultra, same CPU, same RAM, same SSD. The only difference is you can't add on your PCIe stuff. And so to some people that's worth it, to some people it's not. To me, I don't really need any PCI. I don't like have a need for expansion cards and stuff like that. That's why the Mac Studio is interesting to me.
So for the Mac Studio, it's catered towards the YouTuber / like filmmaker kind of like content creation type people. People who are like, yeah, I want a powerful computer, but at the same time, I don't want to break the bank. The Mac Pro is actually catered towards like professionals, like people in the professional industry, like Hollywood and like other types of people who do like the stuff for work, like at a professional level. The Mac Studio, if you are going to get the Mac Studio, I do recommend like specking it out a little bit. No, don't get the like 8 terabyte, probably get like the 4 terabyte. But at the same time, if you're going to get like the Mac Pro, yeah, like that is basically catered towards like people in Hollywood and like more high-end professionals.
So the M2 Max and the M2 Ultra are very, 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 very capable chips. So so this is my setup's very embarrassing. I'm running the 27-inch 2015 iMac, and it's got it's good. It's got the quad core i7, and it's got 16 gigs of RAM, which is but I can I do professional work on this. I do voice recording, and then I can do video editing. It's not going to be as fast. Obviously, it's going to render much slower.
Obviously, yes.
But here's the thing, JD. Okay. So obviously this Mac wasn't announced. This was announced at the previous Apple event, but the Mac Mini, I've also been eyeballing because the Mac Mini has the M2 Pro in it. And you can you can do pretty good with the Mac Mini. You can I guess it just depends on what you're trying to edit, but like I feel like you could edit a feature film like on your Mac Studio like pretty easily. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, like for your specifications, for your use, the Mac Pro is kind of like a waste because like the Mac Studio will suffice you better than the Mac Pro.
Sure.
Because the Mac Pro is so expensive compared to the Mac Studio. Why waste the extra couple $1,000s when literally it's the same power? When
the 2019 Mac Pro goes on sale, I'm gonna buy one.
Like for me, I'm still rocking the 2017 MacBook Pro. It has an Intel chip.
Right.
So I'm looking to upgrade to the M2 chip MacBook Pro, or even better, upgrade now that the Mac Studio has been announced with the M2 chip. I'm thinking about getting the Mac Studio instead.
I'm eyeballing it, JD. You and me both, man. We're both eyeballing them.
Yeah.
Okay, so fun fact: I have 2 Mac Pros. I have a trash can that my friends let me borrow, and then I have the
trash.
I have the first. It's running Trash OS. No, it's no, the trash can's actually really good.
No, it is.
It's kind of a fun little machine, honestly. I'll be honest with you. It's really fun. So I have the trash can, then I have the 2010 Mac Pro, and that one is my main. I actually just converted it into a Windows PC. So I have the first generation cheese grater, and I love the cheese grater. The cheese grater is fun. Obviously, once I get my hands on the cheese grater 2.0, the 7.1, like I'm gonna be. I don't know. I'm that guy. Like it's weird. I'm a weird person, guys. So, but the 2010 Mac Pro is my main gaming PC. Believe it or not.
Really?
It is. Yes. I upgraded the processor and I upgraded the RAM to 48 gigabytes of RAM, and then I just plopped an SSD in there, and then I plopped I have a 1070 Ti in there. I can upgrade it to a 1080 if I do the Pixelus mod, but I don't know. I just like weird jank setups. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Mac Pro, like the first cheese grater, and then this like the 2019 cheese grater, some of the best designed computers like ever, because they're so modular and they're so, But anyways, going back, that's kind of the overview of the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro. You can get the Mac Studio. They start at $2,000. Like, so they're not super duper cheap for what you. I mean, they're not super expensive for what you get.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the other thing. What were you gonna say?
To our viewers out there is also a little bit of a discount if you go on the college website.
Yes,
The college version of the Apple website.
Yes. I'm definitely gonna have to do that. I don't know if I should get the $2,000 one. We're gonna have to do a whole video on us when we buy these. So moving on to Mac OS Sonoma.
Sonoma.
Okay, so
where is Sonoma anyway? Because I know they name it like after like mountains and stuff like that.
Places in California.
Where Sonoma is?
Yes.
Sonoma County? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, Sonoma County. Yeah.
It's basically by Napa County. It's like on the way.
It's wine country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I have family in Santa Rosa, so I know that.
Okay.
So, okay, so the Mac the Mac Studio and the Mac Pro, massive announcements in my opinion. There is obviously one that is that we're going to talk about, but let's go over Mac OS. A lot of fun stuff here. We got widgets on the desktop.
Yep.
We got access to iPhone widgets on Mac. We got widget fade. Like we got like a lot of quality of life stuff. Video conferencing. JD, what are your thoughts?
Man, I am really wanting to upgrade to Mac Sonoma. Like from what I've seen at the panel, it is everything we all wanted. You know, like widgets on the like desktop, and then like it's just a whole bunch of features that they just integrated into it that a lot of people have been asking for, especially like when it comes to widgets, when it comes to multitasking, and like it's just amazing. I'm just like.
It also seems that like Apple's taking gaming a little bit more seriously.
Yeah,
like they had Hideo Kojima come out, and yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, let's talk about one thing I didn't like. Okay,
what?
This is just me. Like? This is just me personally. Obviously, I don't have to use this feature when they release it. I don't like profiles on Safari. Like I don't know. I get why they did it, but it's like I don't know. It's like
why don't you? What do you not like about it?
Well, it's very Google Chromey, right? Where you know you have these specific different profiles, and I guess like if you're that, it depends on what kind of person you are. So like if you like the ability to, I don't know. I just feel like Brave has I feel like I don't know. I just feel like everyone. I feel like Apple was just kind of jumping on that bandwagon, but specifically, I don't know. It's like I feel like. I don't know. I feel like Safari is its own profile. I don't know. That's just me. Let me know if you guys think I'm crazy in the comments or whatever.
Well, for me, I actually like that because I use Chrome right now on both my PC and Mac. And like I use different profiles for different things. So if Safari has that functionality, I think I'm just going to strictly use Safari on my Mac.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's good, But I personally, like I said, am not a big profiles person. It's a personal choice, I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad feature. I just personally don't like it. That's kind of where that is.
And like for Chrome, it eats up so much of your memory, and like.
So I use Brave. I got away from Chrome. I use Brave. It's a leaner, cleaner. You can check it out, but it's leaner and cleaner.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, and then I mean, a lot of cool stuff with macOS Sonoma. I mean, once I get the M2, I'm definitely gonna have to like check it out. I'm leaning, like honestly, I'm like okay, so like my setup, it might be, I might get the Studio or the Mini. I don't know which one I want to get, but I'll probably end up getting the Studio, and then I'll probably get
Let me ask you this: what are you going to be creating content?
Yeah, no, and like I said, we can, we'll be able to talk about that. I was just mentioning that I'll probably get the Studio and then maybe like the Air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, the MacBook Pro's good, but it's like if I have a Studio, like why do I need another Pro level device?
That's true.
Like, unless we're doing a lot of traveling, to SAC Anime, doing little podcasts in the hotel room, editing videos in the hotel room.
Yeah,
all that fun stuff.
I do plan on going to SAC Anime summer.
So we're gonna have to go to JD. Why don't we go to SAC Anime too? We should go to SAC Anime with them.
When is it?
Summer,
September 1st to the 3rd.
Ooh, okay.
Or 2nd to the 4th. It's the first weekend of September. Okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we could talk. We definitely talk about more about that.
yeah, we're gonna have to do a
in
convention
another-
podcast. So we
Yeah,
went
we're
over
gonna do a
iOS a
convention.
little bit. We went over Mac OS a little bit. We went over iPad OS. Went over the new MacBook, all the new Macs, all that fun stuff. What are we missing before we get to the headset?
AirPods.
Yeah,
The
so
AirPods upgrade,
we did talk about that. We talked about the
and then also CarPlay as well.
adaptive audio.
CarPlay
Okay,
and
so
SharePlay.
oh yeah, so they did make some kind of like I said, quality of life stuff with CarPlay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with that. My new car, it has CarPlay in it, so
Oh, fancy! Someone got a new car.
that'll be fun. I mean, nothing crazy, but just something like I'm not guzzling gas, Like I'm happy with this year's WWDC. Now I would argue, I know like we're kind of like blazing through it because we're all kind of there's the next topic is going to take up the other half of the podcast. So
Yeah.
So okay, so we're blazing through it, and in my opinion, this has been okay. This is a stretch. On the hardware side, this has probably been the biggest WWDC since 2007. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. This has been a big one. This has been pretty massive.
Let's talk about the AirPods update real quick. So
adaptive
a lot
audio.
of people, adaptive audio. Not only that, but like switching from device to device much more quickly. So a lot of people are talking about that key function personally about the switching device to device. Sony has had that for a long time now, and they finally integrate it into the AirPods. I have the first generation AirPods. I'm thinking about upgrading to the AirPods Pro 2 later down the line, probably like another month or two until my AirPods actually die out. But I've been waiting for that functionality for a very long time for me to upgrade from my first generation AirPods to the Pro generation.
Yeah.
Because I use both, of course, my iPhone, and then sometimes I have my Mac, and then it's just annoying to switch back and forth between the two
question
devices.
is, can you switch to Android? Because I know you can use your AirPods with it. You can use the newer AirPods with Android devices, or maybe just all AirPod devices. But
if you're going to buy AirPods, I wouldn't recommend buying it for like Android users.
Well,
because there are better options out there.
But I mean, like if you already own like a Mac and an iPhone and an iPad, but then you just use Android on the side, like I do, for like purposes of reviewing games and stuff like that. I was just curious.
I don't know if it does or not. We have to look more into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting, and yeah, the Sonys do offer all that fun stuff, but I don't know. For me, like I understand like a lot of stuff, like it takes Apple forever to do, but when Apple does it, when Apple finally gets around to doing their thing, they do it really, really well. So I don't know.
And like let's jump in and before we jump into the headset, let's talk briefly about the SharePlay feature.
So yeah. I like I said, anything to do with like AirPlay and SharePlay and Face Drop and all that fun stuff and AirDrop, like that's all really good. When they tune these features, they were already really great features to begin with. But the fact that they are, I don't know, kind of just giving us like I said, a better experience. What are your thoughts, JD?
So for me, I really like the functionality of SharePlay. There's countless times where I had to, while I was driving, unlock my phone for my friends or family members to type in their music preference. So with SharePlay, they could just automatically go on their iPhone and then they could put on the music.
Oh god, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
so good.
Like for me, I sometimes when you're driving, you don't want to unlock your phone, so it's hard for your guests, for the people that's driving with you, to play their music, and sometimes you're stuck listening to a playlist that you don't want to listen to, So I really like that functionality, especially if we're going to do like road trips,
Of course, yes.
Like if we're going to do like an LA road trip all the way up to North Cal for the convention, like all of us get to play our own music, and that's really nice. That's I really like that.
100%.
So I really like share play. That's a really good function.
So Jumpman's been quiet the whole podcast.
Yeah, I just don't have any Apple products. I'm not a PC gamer or Apple gamer, computer gamer.
Jumpman, that's okay.
That's fine.
I'm saying.
We don't discriminate here. Hey, for our audience, please do not put it in the comments, okay?
I mean, I do have thoughts on the headset that
we're gonna talk about that right now. So Jumpman,
we're gonna talk about that now.
Jumpman, the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
Jumpman, initial thoughts. What's going through your mind right now?
As I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is cool. Okay, if they can keep it under $1,000, I might get it. Like, no, $3,500.
Okay,
I was like,
you underestimate Apple.
So they're probably.
I know they're. I know
Jumpman.
what I was thinking.
Jumpman.
Yep.
They're probably going to release an Apple Vision and an Apple Vision SE. Okay, and they're probably not going to have like the 4K screen in the front. This is just for early adopters. But let's just assume. Let's ignore price for the rest of the podcast. What are your thoughts on
price?
What are your thoughts on the product? What are your thoughts on the product?
Oh no, it looks amazing. I could definitely see myself using it a lot. Mm-hmm. It looks real. I would enjoy getting it. It's like that's what I was saying. I'd be willing to spend even maybe $1,000. Like I would, but like 3,500. That's way too steep for me. It's cool. I will say that I am pretty impressed.
JD, first impressions.
First impressions, when I saw the design of the Vision Pro, I really liked it because it reminds me of the Quest Pro and like a little bit of the Quest Pro.
Sure.
Design wise, of course, it's Apple. They gotta go over the top with their aluminum casing and like their glass like front and stuff like that. So they gotta go over the top with the design. Functionality wise, I don't care. I want it.
Okay, so
I know I was thinking that too.
Okay, so look, guys. I'm gonna give my 2 cents here. Okay. We've had so many VR and AR headsets, okay? And I've looked at all of them. I've looked at the Quest Pro and all this fun stuff, and then the Microsoft one, and then like the cheap ones, and then Google Glass, and like the early ones where you'd you'd hook them up to your phone.
Mm-hmm. No, this one is the Quest 2.
The Quest 2. I mean, all this cool stuff. I have never seen anything I didn't even nothing comes close to this as far as. Mm-hmm. If it does what they say it does, we're like the freaking, you can just look at the app. Like, that is insane. No, you don't have to have a controller.
Yeah.
And then you can like just use your hands. I mean, that is crazy to me.
Yeah. Especially because like they run out of battery real quick.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Yeah.
By the way, for those of you who can't see him, he's holding up the Quest controller.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like the fact that you can use it as a desktop, like there is a practical application to this thing, right?
Yeah.
You can have multiple screens. The fact that you can make your living room into a movie theater, like, that's crazy to me. Like the fact that you can, just like, there's so much you can do with this, and this is just like scratching the surface, right? Like, we're not even talking about all the third-party apps that they're going to do with this thing. So let's talk about the software aspect of it. So we're getting all of our fun stuff, right? We're getting tvOS, we're getting all that cool stuff. Jumpman, I know you're a Disney guy. What'd you think about Bob Iger coming out?
Bob Iger. Wait, what's going on, Bob Iger?
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so you watched the recap. So let me recap it. So
recap it, Fred, please.
Yeah, so Bob Iger came out and he said that Disney Plus is going to be available on launch, and there's like crazy ways you can watch like Disney Plus and like different shows and stuff. You can, it's like, I was like, wait, what? Like when Bob Iger came out, like I knew they were going to do something. They were going to do something crazy. But when Iger came out, I'm like, okay, like now they're just pouring gravy on top of the mashed potatoes here. You know what I mean? JD, what'd you think about that moment?
Oh my god, I loved it, especially when he showed off that trailer. you could watch The Mandalorian on Tatooine.
Yeah, no, that was nuts, dude. So
That
yeah,
was nuts.
Okay, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and then they had one where you're like in the ship, and then you can watch like the man, like just like
Like it was so awesome. Like it's fully immersed. You could be on Tatooine, you could be on Naboo, you could be on any planet and watch Star Wars, or you could be in like the multiverse, like Marvel's multiverse. You
so
know?
Yeah.
on a technical level, like you get two 4K OLEDs that have 23 million pixels per eye, and so it looks like you're there. Like, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
like on a visual level.
Yeah. Well, I know because I have a PlayStation VR. I'm kind of thinking this Hulu you can kind of do something like that, but I'm pretty sure the Vision Pro is probably way better. But it's like you can kind of do that with the Hulu app, where it looks like you're just sitting on a beach and
So
you're watching your streaming stuff on a screen.
So correct me if I'm wrong, JD, but the Quest has like a Snapdragon in it. It doesn't have like a full desktop processor.
No, it has a Snapdragon processor.
Okay, so this one has two processors. You have the M2, which is bonkers, right? Like that's just like bonkers that they have that in there. And that would probably be on its own good enough to run this whole device. But they have a whole separate device, a whole separate processor. They have the R1 processor that runs all the vision cameras and crazy stuff. And I'm like that's just like, I don't know, like the fact that this is like this can replace your phone, your iPad, your computer, and then it can also synergize with all those things, and your Apple TV is crazy.
Especially when they showed off, like you are on your MacBook and you get to, when you put on the Vision Pro, you get to share the screen on your MacBook onto the Vision Pro.
So fun fact, JD, I think you can do that with everything, and let me explain. Okay. So, if you have an Apple TV, you can use it, I believe, as a there's like a way to cast stuff from your TV. So, I'm wondering, is there a way, like through the magic of jank and jailbreaking, is there a way you can just cast like any device to your? There's probably a way to do it, but
there is probably a way. It's just that, do you want to jailbreak it and then ruin it?
I definitely want to jailbreak it and ruin it. Like we're gonna have to do a whole video when I buy it and then break it. We're gonna have to do a whole video on that.
Okay, Space Muffet spending 3,500 on Vision Pro and breaking it, and on the first day.
we're gonna see if we can break Vision Pro on the first day. But it'd be interesting if you could cast like. Fun. It'd be interesting if you could I'm sure there's a way.
There has to be.
But like if you could like cast your PlayStation, Xbox, actually like I know there's a way because you can do it with there's so many third-party apps, but like imagine like just playing your PS4 and like just it has like better, or your Xbox or whatever. I don't know, just interesting. Kind of interesting thoughts.
I think they will integrate that because you get to do that on your Mac anyway, or your phone or your iPad. Because I know through Sony they have the Sony Remote app where you could play remotely through your PS4 or your PS5, and you could do that on your Mac. You could do that on your phone or iPad.
100%. And like we're just getting a sneak peek of what this thing can really do.
Yeah, and it's coming out next year, so we're probably gonna see more in next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, a bunch of third-party developers are going to be doing a bunch of crazy stuff. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about the technical side. So you have obviously we talked about the lenses that you get to see. Jumpman, what are your thoughts on the external display? So the display that other people can see, like they can see your eyes, they can see like. What are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of hard to tell. It looks cool in the video, but I feel like if I actually saw it in real life, it might be a little weird or off-putting. That's what I'm afraid.
Sure.
Yeah, because it just depends on how it looks in real life compared to just watching.
There's got to be a setting where you can turn it off. Like there's got to be settings,
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like a whole new OS. Like I'm excited, JD, because like, I mean, okay, so obviously there was the metaverse hype and all this stuff. It's kind of died down, and we're kind of switching to AI, But I think it'd be cool. Like we're doing a little bit of work with this stuff, like as far as practical applications, as far as like your workload, and just having the 3 screens and all that stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
The thing I question the most is that they showed off FaceTime through the Vision Pro, but I'm wondering, how do you look like through other people's eyes when
yes,
you're
yes.
wearing
So
the Vision Pro?
so okay. What it does? Sorry to interrupt you. What it does is it has cameras, right? And when you first set up the Vision Pro, you can scan your face, and it creates a 3D avatar that they see. So
I mean, I guess.
Well, no, I mean, it looks okay. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit of the uncanny valley there, but I think it's only going to improve over time. You know what I mean, JD?
Yeah, I guess, but like, it's weird when you're just looking at an avatar, through FaceTime.
It's
a photorealistic avatar.
Yes, it is photorealistic.
It is, but at the same time, it's like if for a fact they're wearing the Vision Pro, it's an avatar.
Like I said, this is the generation.
Technology.
This is a first generation device. We got to keep that in mind, right? Like I think
That's
by the third, fourth, fifth generation of this, or once they keep updating it, it's going to get better and better and better. And I don't know, it's mind blowing. Like I know, like a lot of people who didn't watch, like obviously if you're listening to this podcast, you may have watched it, you may not have watched it. If you did, like, it's mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing. When they said that like this was going to be, are we going to say, Jumpman?
Oh, and they're gonna put they're gonna have you put stickers all over your body so that it can mocap the avatar, so that when you're moving, your avatar is moving that same way.
So that'd be hilarious. That would be hilarious if they had to do something like that. But I love, like, okay, that's the one thing I love about this. I love that it's just a device. Like, you don't need a computer, you don't need a phone,
Yeah.
You don't need gloves, you don't need the controllers that are going to get lost and broken.
Yeah.
Like or batteries are going to die. Like, you don't need any of that. It's just the device. So
I saw a cord coming out of the headset. Like, it was that cord connected.
That is the battery pack.
Yes,
the extra battery pack.
Okay.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room, okay? 2 hours of battery, kind of weak.
Well, the Quest 2 is also around the same thing, 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's roughly around the same thing.
They're going to make a bigger battery. I'm certain that they're going to make a bigger battery. And then eventually they're going to get rid of, like, the battery altogether, and you'll just be able to plug it into the,
Yeah, obviously, but now since it's still the first generation.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, guys, I don't know. Like, I'm personally excited. It looks comfy. It looks premium. They're doing it.
The only downside I could see to this is that people wearing glasses like me and Jumpman.
So they already
well, minus the price point.
Minus the price point. They already have a solution to people wearing glasses, and I think it's pretty cool. So they're working with a third party company.
Yeah, they do, but at the same time, I'm wondering how high a prescription they'll go. Because for me, I don't know about Jumpman, but for me, I have a very, very high prescription, and I'm legally blind.
Oh, wow.
Without my glasses.
Gotcha.
Well, legally blind. Like I'm like just barely. Well, I'm just barely at the point where I have to wear glasses when I drive. Yeah, but
for me, I have to wear glasses everywhere I go. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, because that's the definition of legally blind. I believe it's just if you're required to wear contact corrective lenses when driving, that's basically legally blind, right?
Yeah.
So going back to, obviously, there's so many features that we aren't able to talk about in depth. This is only a 1 hour podcast. I don't know, JD. What are some features that you like? What are some features that you're looking forward to? What are some features that you want to see?
Oh man, I'm looking towards all of them, all the OSs, and especially like the brand new Mac Studio. Like, I've been holding off on the Mac Studio for a while now because I know the M2 is going to be announced soon. So I'm thinking about getting the M2 pretty soon, and that's what I'm looking towards.
100%.
Especially now. I don't know if you guys heard, but I think rumors have it that the iPhone 15 will now be transferring over to USB Type-C.
It will.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that, where all my charging cables are all uniform. So I'm looking towards that.
So,
Oh wait, you're saying Apple phones are going to USB-C?
Yes, because of a law that passed in the UK that requires
Oh,
all new devices to be USB Type C.
oh, that's only in the UK though.
No,
yeah, but
everywhere.
Apple,
only UK, but like Apple, yeah.
it makes more sense for them just to convert all the phones to USB-C at that point.
Yeah, it does. Instead of like US and every other country besides UK Lightning, and keep UK like USB-C.
So, Jumpman, in regards to Vision Pro, once again, assuming money's no object, what features are you looking forward to? What do you see yourself doing with this device?
Probably a lot of movie watching, but probably gaming too. If there, I'm sure there'll be games for it. Maybe.
Of course, yeah.
We just don't know. We just haven't seen anything yet. So,
well, we're gonna do a whole nother podcast on this next subject probably. But like, okay, so JD, what are your thoughts? Because this is kind of like Web3 stuff, right? So, what are your thoughts on obviously Facebook isn't doing that good, or Meta, I guess, as far as the metaverse goes. But what are your thoughts on like the metaverse and Web3 and all that stuff? I'm just curious.
I think Apple will be the leading in it because, yeah, a lot of people make fun of Meta for what they were going to do, but a lot of people are jumping on it when Apple is in the picture now.
Well, okay.
Because like Meta was the first one to do it, but Apple is the one that solidifies and actually has people converting over,
I remember back when iPad first became a thing and everyone thought that was the craziest move ever. Like no one was going to buy an iPad.
Yes.
And they became a huge thing and everyone, yeah.
Well, I mean to be fair, there's and this is just a fact, unfortunately, guys. I'm sorry, Android users. There's really no comparable Android lineup. I mean, I guess Samsung maybe, and maybe I guess Microsoft has the Surface, but the iPad just works so well, But
Google just announced their tablet, the Google Pixel,
the Pixel Tab, yeah. But
Tab, yeah.
It's going to kind of JD's point where he says, well, okay, now that Apple's doing it, everybody else is going to get on board. I think it's because, I don't think. Okay, so Apple they make hardware, but they're really a software company when you think about it. They make a lot of software that just synergizes with obviously other Apple products, and it makes life easier for a lot of people. Some people, like I said, I've used Windows, I've used Android, I've used Linux, I've used all kinds of crazy stuff, and I'm not saying Apple's the end all be all, but in regards to kind of the metaverse and everything like that. I don't think Apple's really going to develop any metaverse stuff. I mean, obviously they're going to develop stuff for their. When I say metaverse stuff, they're not going to have their own metaverse. I think you're going to be able to connect to Facebook's metaverse and even Microsoft's metaverse via this product, if that makes any sense. I think in order for it to work, I think in order for the biggest problem with the Facebook metaverse is they're kind of trying to make it okay, and this is just my perception. They're trying to they're trying to make it like a video game, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, they are.
And the problem with that is it's not the fact that they're trying to make it a video game. It's the fact that I don't think Mark Zuckerberg's ever even played a video game. If we're being I don't think they've played video games because it's so jank the way the way the current build is. It's so jank, and it's I watched their presentation from 7 months ago. And it's just jank, And so I think the reason why Apple wins, in a lot of cases, is because Apple's had so many failures. We were talking about one of them. The trash can was a failure. A lot of Apple's lineup during the 2000s was pretty bad. The MacBook Pro was pretty bad. Or not the 2000s, the 2010s, right?
Yeah.
The MacBook Pro, where they're removing all the USB ports, all this stuff, they've just kind of made floppy kind of decisions. But I think now with Apple Silicon, I think they're kind of getting their footing back. And as far as the Mac lineup, this is the strongest it's been. I think this is the strongest it's ever been. That's just my opinion, though. But as far as the Web3 stuff, it's interesting. It's just really interesting. Like, I think like you need a company like Apple that like is like, okay, like the user experience versus the actual hardware, like the basically the whole user experience. I think Apple is a master at doing that type
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah,
So
it is, because the thing is that a company that's like Apple, they actually listen to their consumers. They actually listen to the customer space. There was an interview that I watched recently with Tim Cook. His daily routine is actually looking at the reviews that people give him about the products, whether it's negative or positive. He learns from the consumers. He learns from us, the customers, so that he can integrate that into the products and sell better. And they listen to a lot of our suggestions, really. Like the widgets, for example, that was a lot of customer suggestions, and so they integrate that in. And then the FaceTime with the video messaging, that's also customer suggestions. So I'm really
100%.
happy like how Apple actually listens to their customer base.
So in regards to the Vision Pro, 100%. I think obviously them listening. What I like about the Vision Pro is you have an element of practical application, so you can use it for
Mm-hmm.
work, you can use it for mindfulness, you can use it for like all that fun stuff. When I say practical application, I'm saying not non-entertainment purposes. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have the social elements with FaceTime, with obviously we didn't even talk about the 3D camera, by the way, on the Vision Pro, where
Oh yeah, the 3D
you
camera.
can record 3D videos on it, and like just like there's so many elements um that come together, and they come together very well from what we're seeing. And then obviously you have the entertainment factor. So, the fact that you can go to different locations in a way, you can like Jumpman talked about with the video game aspect of it. And then of course, obviously, I think that the movie watching experience is going to be next level.
Yeah.
The fact that you can make the screen any size you want, from 100-foot screen to, so it's just like it's just all the crazy stuff.
Mm.
And I like the dial. I like how you can figure out how immersed do you want to be. Do you want to be completely immersed, or do you want to be, I don't know. How does that compare to the Oculus? Does the Oculus?
So for the Oculus, you are fully immersed. There's a way for you to like tap on the side like two times or three times, and it just shows you like a room view of what you're looking at. But once you put the Oculus on, like you're just fully immersed into the world, and that's it. Like you can't. There's no way for you to do like augmented reality. You're just in virtual reality. That's it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think VR is, like I said, and we've had it for a while, and I think it has a long ways to go. And I just think like, yeah, I just think making like people's lives better, with the work life, because like, okay, so I remember like Elon Musk said, he's like, I don't see people like just wearing this thing all day. Like he was talking about like just VR in general. He obviously wasn't talking about the Vision Pro, but I'm not at my computer all day. I'm not on my phone all day. Like you use it, you watch your movie, or you're on the plane, or you're in the back of a car, and you're doing stuff, and then maybe you just put it away, and then obviously they're going to have options where you can plug in a cable to the wall, where you can just literally just be on this thing 24 hours a day. But for me, that's not how I use technology. I use technology to enhance my experiences, not necessarily replace them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like
that, yeah.
I think with the Web 3.0 stuff, I think it's the same old story, right? When radio came out, it's like, oh, you guys are just gonna watch radio. They're not watch radio, listen to radio all day. When the TV came out, it's like, oh, we're just gonna watch TV all day. And then like that's all. Yeah. And then when games came out, it's like, oh, you're just playing video games all day. You're on Nintendo all day. I think this is just gonna be it's another one of those situations, right?
Well, people are already online all day with their computers anyway. If you work in like a office atmosphere, you're constantly on the computer for at least 8 hours a day. So this is nothing different than that. It's just that you're just putting on your face.
I think there is a generational thing too. Like, I mean, obviously with the cell phone aspect of it, where we, have had cell phones in our pockets and things like that, and it's just which is they're always connected. So I think there's that aspect of it.
Mhm.
So I do think there are some negatives to the whole Web 3.0 thing. I think there's some negatives to Web 2.0. I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of negatives to Web 2.0. You know, with social media and stuff. So I think
negative. There's pros and cons with everything.
100%, dude, 100%. I do think
Yeah.
I do think like the addiction aspect, like I think that has become like a legit problem.
Mhm.
But the thing is, from on a personal level, I think it's all about like the boundaries that you set with technology and the boundaries that you make for yourself. I mean, I've been going ham. A little sneak peek on the next podcast that we're gonna be talking about. I've been going ham on Diablo 4. I've just been playing the game nonstop.
I've been getting notifications that you've been playing it a lot.
I've been playing the game day in and day out. So I've been I've been taking breaks to play Street Fighter 6. So it's but yeah, we're gonna talk about those in the next podcast. Closing thoughts on the Vision Pro Jumpman.
Well, I like it, but I'm definitely not going to be spending $3,500 for it when it comes out.
I'm gonna buy it and then destroy it. So that's kind of my goal here.
Can you bring it up here before you destroy it?
Of course, yeah.
Let him play with it first, okay?
Of course, if we go to SAC Anime, like next when we got to plan a SAC Anime trip. Okay, so JD, Vision Pro, WWDC Tuesday. What are your thoughts?
For me, I am really excited on what is the future of Vision Pro. Obviously, we just got a sneak peek this week of what it could do. And of course, they're still developing it. So as the date gets closer to its release, I want to see more and more functionality from it and more like features and applications and stuff. Utilization, basically, from it.
There you have it, guys. Viewers, listeners. This is the Void Playground. Amazing podcast. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go to thevoid.gg/shop. We got merch. We got all kind of fun ways to support us. You can join our Discord server and you can talk to us. And we have 5 Discord servers, guys. So
5.
For those of you who don't know, we have the Void, which is our hub server. You can have fun. You can socialize. You can post pictures of food. All fun stuff in the Void. We do giveaways and all that fun stuff. We have the Void 2, which is our first person and third person shooter server. So you're going to find Fortnite, Valorant, Call of Duty, all that fun stuff there, and Apex and all that cool stuff. We have the Void 3, which is our miscellaneous game server. So you're going to find Diablo, Minecraft, Mario Kart. We got Rocket League, all that fun stuff. The Void 4, that's our staff server. That's where all of our all the creation happens. We have content creators there. We got squad leaders. We got staff. We got management there. And then we have the Void 5, which is our server for our elite squad. So that's our pro division. So, swing by. For those of you who didn't know, that's the Void. So, check it out. And, we hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your time.
And also, guys, just a reminder, we're also not only on YouTube, but we're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts as well. So if you don't have time to watch the video, like tune in to our Spotify, tune in to Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts.
Listen to us in the car with the new Apple podcast, the Apple CarPlay function. So, all right, guys, peace.
All right, see ya.
Peace. See ya.